give you one update that I know of. So Marty and Barb has been kind of emailing or texting some of us. Marty was expected to get out, or he thought he was gonna get out. He actually told me that he thought he was gonna make this meeting. That's not the case. He's still gonna be in the hospital probably until Friday or Saturday. Then be out and then do rehab for about 2 weeks, and he is hoping to come back somewhere here about the 18th to the 22nd. So we wish him well.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna bring up faith.
And they have a few things on.
Give her a round.
Yeah.
What is it? Yahoo?
Yahoo!
Yahoo.
Is that what-
Yeah. That's
You'll hear all about it.
Need these more and more. So, good morning, everyone.
Morning.
So in thinking about an inspirational message, first of all, I think that we're a pretty inspiring group. In many, many ways, but you know, when I hear about different interests and you know, both personal and professional pursuits that you all have, it's very inspiring. And so one that has been really important to me and has actually made me say, like, I'm a skier, artist, woodworker, singer, whatever. In my case, I'm able to say I'm a scuba diver.
Woohoo!
It's very exciting to me, and I have my shirt here that my husband gave me that includes things that are important to me. Glass of wine, occasionally with friends. Our dogs, I love dogs. Next is sandals or flip-flops on the beach, very important place to me. And then last one is a scuba diver. And that's something that's been really important to me and has kind of given me a sense of accomplishment. You know, when you try something and it seems so out of reach and too hard, but then you do it and it feels so good to be able to say, I did that. So, Sean, about 9 years ago, challenged me to try scuba diving. And I love the water, I love to swim, but the thought of putting on 50 pounds of equipment, jumping off a boat into the Gulf or the ocean, and through a mask and a tank, being able to keep yourself alive down deep in the water, sometimes 70, 80 feet. This feels very overwhelming, but what a sense of accomplishment. So when I saw our new Rotary magazine, and I don't know if you've read this article or not, Ripple Effect is the name of it, it's the featured article, and read about a Rotarian who actually, through his love of scuba diving and the influence of his daughter, which I'll tell you about briefly, he's been able to give that opportunity to people who might never think that they'd be able to scuba dive. Maybe they spend their life in a wheelchair. And I've actually been on boats where someone in a wheelchair is able to scuba dive along with some assistance. So I just thought it might be interesting to read about this gentleman. His name is Jim Elliott. And if you haven't read the article, please do, because it's very long. So I'm just going to give you a couple of segments because I think they're really interesting. But Jim Elliott is actually a member of a Rotary Club in Illinois, the Downers Grove Rotary Club. And in 2001, he quit his well-paying, 6-figure job to start a nonprofit called Dive Heart. And he was inspired earlier in his life by his daughter, who was born legally blind and was very frustrated at 9 years old because she was constantly reminded by other students of her disability. And so he introduced her to skiing. And I know, some members of our Rotary Club are part of skiing, helping skiers who, they need somebody, a buddy with them when they're skiing. And so that was something that he introduced his daughter to at 9, and she suddenly identified herself as a skier. instead of, oh, I have this disability, I'm blind, I'm a skier. And so in 2001, he took his love for diving to start Dive Hard, nonprofit, which if you're a diver, you've probably heard of. And so let me just read you just very small segments of this article. More than a dozen scuba divers dot the pool's turquoise waters, swimming in groups of 3s and 4s in dark wetsuits and face masks. Excited chatter, splashing, and the occasional squeal of delight pierce the humid, chlorine-scented air, a contrast to the frigid conditions outside on this January morning in Illinois. To the uninformed observer, the people in the pool at a high school in suburban Chicago are indistinguishable from one another. But Jim Elliott, a member of the Rotary Club of Downers Grove, Illinois, knows the different groups and why they're here. The instructors who are leading the sessions, the dive buddies serving as their safety companions, and the rookie divers who are learning to navigate deep waters with autism, brain injuries, paralysis, and other conditions. When Elliott launched Dive Hard in 2001, his vision was simple. He wanted to introduce people with limited mobility to scuba diving, a sport that he loved. Intuitively, he thought someone would say a spinal cord injury could benefit from the sensation of weightlessness in the water. He hoped to make scuba more accessible and welcoming to all. The thrill for me, says Elliott, is when a diver first looks down and they go, oh my God, I'm standing up. I'm not in my wheelchair, Elliott says. So I encourage you to read the rest of this article. I don't want to take a lot of time. I know we have a great program today, but I think what I got from this, and kind of personally from the challenge of scuba diving, which at first did not go well for me. I had a hard time being able to, get used to the mask and get used to the breathing, but now love it. Is that we can be challenged, but also we can use what our challenges have been to benefit others. And I think that's a great message of Rotary, and I'm proud that we have Rotarians like ourselves and people like Jim who have been able to use their passion, their skill to be able to help people to say, I'm a diver, when they never thought they could do something like that. So I encourage you to read this. It's a great article.
Faith, that was excellent. So Faith, I'm also a scuba diver. So it's a great sport.
Your note.
We will. It's been a while. So one of the things that when Faith was talking kind of brought one thing up that I did want to mention, if I haven't mentioned it before, put it in my notes. There are fellowships. I know where everybody's got doesn't have a lot of free time, but there are fellowships in Rotary for different topics that you may like. So there probably is a scuba diving one. I know there's like a knitting one. I know there's a beer drinking one. I may join the chess one. So I talked when I was out, I saw that one. So there's about 100 of them. So if you have any time, or if you want to meet like-minded people across the globe, it might be something that you look into. So I'm going to bring up Debbie and Sally.
Yeah.
I don't know, did you Photoshop me into any of the?
No, I didn't. I'm grateful that my technological skills. So, great, awesome. So yeah, thanks everybody. We're wearing these hats because this year's Rotary International Convention was in Calgary. And for those of you who are new to Rotary, Rotary International has conventions every single year, and they're big, huge productions. Rotary itself is in, as in the UN recognizes 192 countries, and Rotary's in 150 of them. So they're very large gatherings. They were like in upwards of 15,000 people at this particular convention. So 16, yeah, closer to 16,000. So So I think just as an overview, I would say that there are like three things that you can get from, a Rotary International Convention. One is you learn a lot about the host city. They pride themselves on their hospitality. Next year it'll be in Taiwan. A couple of years ago it was in Singapore. You know, they're different places, so you learn a lot about the place that you go to. Secondly, you meet all these wonderful people from all over the world, and then thirdly, you learn a lot about and are inspired by things that are going on in Rotary at the international level, at different country levels, and in local clubs like ours. So we have some photos and videos to show you, and we will use those as our sort of cue for things to say about stuff. And keep your fingers crossed that this works, because it works in my house.
So if it doesn't work, we're all going to your house.
That's right, yeah, exactly.
The culprits.
Hey,
Sorry. I said it louder than I meant.
your voice carries.
Okay, so here we are. This in Calgary, the location was where they have the Stampede. And it's this big, huge complex with lots of different buildings, and it has a Ferris wheel normally. I always had the Rotary symbol in the middle of it, so that was cool. That was green first comment. Yeah, you see that, yeah. And then here we are in a lot in the same way that we are now. And
Are those the same hats?
they are the exact same hats. And then so in Calgary, they don't say like yippee, boys, they say Yahoo. So we were always getting, a tutorial on how to say Yahoo. And then they had this big, huge sign so there's all three of us. So Vince was a little bit grumpy and he didn't get a hat, but but Sally and I leaned embraced the whole Yahoo spirit. And so one of the ways.
We've got to hear Sally say Yahoo.
Oh, no, you're not thinking.
So one of
The hat, but it really is corny.
yeah. But you don't feel so all alone when there are like, thousands of people with white hats. So one of the things that started us off to understand the culture of Calgary is there was an opening ceremony that had a lot of things to do with cowboys and everything. So I'm going to give you the and I'm going to go through some of the slides. And Sally will tell you about some of this.
This was Saturday night. Things started on Sunday, but Saturday night they had what they call the Grand Spectacular. And
We got there early. It's a Sally. Yeah, there we go.
did not give permission for that. So again, with 15,000 of our closest friends, we're sitting up in this stadium, which is where they hold the outdoor events for the Stampede.
Yeah, so then the opening part versus, and then they did the whole white hat ceremony.
But there was everything.
We didn't do the whole thing. There you go.
So this is the Indian relay race. The Indian relay race is a tradition amongst Native peoples that they're very proud of. They want it called the Indian relay race. It's a generational thing where young men and actually young women do a 2-lap race, but the men do a 3-lap race. It's similar to car racing, where the first lap is done on a horse. The young man rides the horse full speed into the pit area and changes to another horse. He has 3 horses, does 3 laps. It's actually very dangerous. It was called the original extreme sport. And the Indians are very proud of it because it occupies the time and energy of a lot of young people and keeps them away from trouble, keeps them out of drugs, out of crime. And it's unbelievably difficult. Do you have more of the?
Yeah.
I don't know if you get the. The other thing that's really dangerous is the person who's holding the two horses is called a mugger. And when the horse comes in full speed, he grabs that horse and he hands another horse to the rider. And somehow he survives.
Fast on his feet.
What?
It looks wet and slippery.
It wasn't.
Yeah, well, it had rained. I can attest to the fact that Calgary is supposed to be one of the sunniest cities in Canada. 333 days of sun a year. I got there early to do some sightseeing. It rained all 3 days that I was there, or it rained. So yeah, it rained some. But yeah, so anyway, so that was great, really great. That was the opening thing. And that was really cool. So then we started going to the events themselves, and they had one of the first days they had breakfast for us. That they do that's part of Stampede also. They have breakfast like all 10 days of Stampede. So here we just kind of mingling with people and
It's a pancake breakfast.
pancake
They
breakfast. That's right.
serve thousands of people pancakes.
Yeah.
Sausage.
Right. So then I know I did make a joke about whether it was Vermont maple syrup,
It was.
and then one of the guys said, no, it's Canadian maple syrup, and he goes, and actually, it's probably not even that. It was like, maple flavored. So then inside the big arena, we had, general session every day, a 2-hour general session every day.
Over 3.
So here's, this is where you get the full effect of, lots and lots of thousands of people. And there were some really, really interesting, speakers that, we just wanted to highlight some that were our personal, favorites. I really thought, that's Gina Davis on the screen there, the actress. I really was taken with her. She has, been running an advocacy, organization for women and girls, for many years. She spoke about that and, said nice things about Rotary. And then the woman who's in charge of Sesame Street did a presentation that she called S is for Spilling Milk, and she talks a lot about child development and about how important it is that we teach kids that it's okay to mess up, and that she thinks that's one of the problems in our society is that we expect perfectionism even from kids at an early age, and we stress them out, and this is contributing to our mental health crisis. And so I thought she was really inspiring and really cool. And you want to talk about, and they highlighted different programs. They highlighted the Peacemakers program. We have a lot of people who go to their peace centers in different parts of the world. They highlighted some of those and the work that they're doing. And then they highlighted Polio Plus.
Yeah, so there was a young man who came out on the stage with 2 canes, whose name is Rashish Ferris. He was born in India with polio. And he was adopted out of India and went through multiple surgeries and now is able to walk with canes. He showed a video of the streets of India before polio was being prevented. And I almost cried at that because it showed people very distorted crawling on the sidewalks. In 1988, before Rotary took up the polio campaign, there are 350,000 cases of polio every year. And now, this many years later, 99.5% of those cases no longer happen. It was It was very, very moving, and he was the embodiment of the polio campaign. I don't know if you have a video of this, but one of the other things that moved me at this was the tribute and the honor paid to the first peoples of Canada.
Yes, I have
Do you
that.
have that?
Yeah, should we see that first and then you can talk about it?
Several things included Native peoples. They were at that first ceremony near the track. And there was this amazing video that was shown at the beginning of the first general session.
Oh, no.
Uh-oh. We're all going over to Debbie's.
I know. It took me so long to edit this. No, it's not showing.
But the Native peoples were included in almost everything.
Yeah.
One of the things that struck my husband and I when we took the train trip across Canada is that the Native peoples are called the First Peoples. I think First Peoples is so much more honest and true. And then when these homages were paid to the Native peoples, it was gratifying.
Well, it was here.
The other thing I'll tell you while she's trying to get that is, I mean, I've always been happy to be a Rotarian. I'm proud of what Rotary does. I know there's 1.2 million Rotarians in the world and 47,000 Rotarian clubs, right? But it wasn't until I went to this and I sat at lunch with 5 people, 3 women, 2 young men from Mexico. And we struggled to talk. I didn't have Spanish. They had sort of English. We talked about what we do. They are in a town right across from the border from Brownsville, Texas. And I realized that Rotarians around the world are doing what we're doing. They're making their communities better. Now we hear the details, whether it's scuba diving or giving bicycles to kids in Bhutan who can't make it to school, or whatever you might read in the Rotary magazine. To actually meet these people face to face was incredible. I met people from Scotland and Denmark and Africa and South America, and over and over and over were people who were doing what we're doing.
Sally, I know you've been a Rotarian a while. Was this your first convention?
Yeah, my first international convention. A few years ago it was in Toronto, and we could have gone to that because it was close. I actually think the Asians International Convention probably have more people.
Okay, so I'm sorry, it's not coming up. Apologize, but I'm gonna, let me else.
Yeah.
Okay, so maybe I can, I'll keep working on it, but, so, but they also had, different events, all throughout every day. And one of the things they had were these 2 different luncheons, that I went to. They were called the presidential luncheons. One was for the past president, outgoing president, one was for the incoming president. And it was really amazing. There was like, hundreds of people at these and all these different, tables that you could go to. And you guys know me, I didn't know anybody, but I just thought, well, I'll just go, sit at somebody's table. So I managed to find the past president, Gary C.K. Kwong, and his wife. And they were from Korea, and really nice people. So there they took other people were taking their picture with them, and I'm like, hi, you don't know me, but will you take your picture with me? So they were very gracious. And I chatted with Mrs. Wong, Corinna, quite a lot. And I asked her if, one of the things was I asked her husband, if she felt like his year of being president was really was fun or was tiring. And she said, oh, tiring. And she said, and not only the year that he was president, but the 2 years that he sort of campaigned so that he could become president. So anyway, but that was fun. And and then this was the lieutenant governor of the province of Alberta, and she had spoken at one of our plenary sessions. Yeah. And she has a really interesting story. She's from a refugee family, and she had really, kind of worked her way up, and has this position. And politics, and so I always play the, oh, hi, I'm a former state senator from Vermont, card, and that also gets me to be able to take a selfie with somebody. So that was fun. So then, being shy and retiring doesn't get you anywhere like, so anyway, so Stephanie Urchik, who is she's the second woman, president of Rotary International. She was the outgoing, president. She spoke at this luncheon, and that's her on the screen there. And, yeah. Oh, so what Sally was saying about meeting people, I mean, there were so many people in so many different, places. You could interact with people, you could meet people. These are, a lot of people wore their own, kind of, dress from their countries. Here's a guy from Africa and a guy and a woman from Asia. This is a Mexican delegation. This is the big Nigerian delegation at the airport. So there's, just tons and tons of people that you knew were from all different countries. And then, you want to say more, Sally? So this is your friend, that you met.
So this young woman is not a Rotarian. She's from Guyana. She lives in Denver. But she runs a nonprofit in Guyana for women and children, to support them both in living and in business. And she's thinking about joining Rotary, and I encouraged her to join, because if she gets into the Denver Rotary Club, she can make her work one of their projects, and I'm sure they would be supportive. So it was lovely. We had a great time chatting.
Yeah, and then I did want to share. So this was at the I think the second luncheon that I went to, and so here on the left is Stephanie Urchik, the outgoing president, but she had worn these, and on the opening ceremony, she wore these horrible earrings that were white cowboy
They were
hats.
dangling
Yeah.
white cowboy hat.
And you can see she's holding it up, but you can see. So they decided, she said, I got so many comments about my earrings, not positive, that I decided to auction them off and give the proceeds to, she went to give it to Polio Plus and to the peacemaking initiative. So they auctioned it at the lunch, and they auctioned off the pair for $3,000. So much for ugly. And then on the right here this is the incoming president, Francesco Arezzo. He's an Italian dentist, and what a lovely, wonderful man. Oh my gosh, so gracious and charming and really, really great. And one of the things that Sally was talking about with the polio campaign is that there's been a lot of trouble really eradicating it in Pakistan and Afghanistan, because the Pakistani warlords especially will not allow the kind of door-to-door vaccinations that local teams have done in other countries. But Mr. Arezzo announced that Rotary got together a delegation of people to sit down and meet with the warlords and explain to them what was going on. And can you imagine, I mean, just sitting down and meeting with them must have been kind of terrifying. But, explain to them what was going on, what they were trying to accomplish. It's not political. It's not, trying to take any power away from you, and will you allow it? And so he said they had a breakthrough, so that there should be some more vaccinations going on door to door in some of those really remote areas of Afghanistan and Pakistan. Yeah.
All right.
And
What's next?
he's only been president for like a month or so. He was.
Yeah, it's for July 1st is when it started. Yeah, is when it
Yeah,
starts.
but he-
But he wasn't, yeah, that's true. He wasn't the
It's
one.
amazing for such a large organization to come in with thinking you still had a year or two ahead of you to be president, but something happened with the incoming president, right?
That's right. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, and he has cancer, I think, right? The one who was supposed to be
Yeah,
incoming.
Yeah.
Just
And
backed out.
he had to back out. So, so Mr. Rizzo was like, like we do, like you have the president and you have the whole lineup, and he had to skip ahead, and so he wasn't.
But this is a perfect example of, similar to the skydiving guy, somebody has an idea, has the courage to act on it, gets a group together and goes to meet with warlords.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I wouldn't have thought about it. Yeah, Les.
not only did somebody think of this, but this is an organization that supports all sorts of ideas.
Yeah.
You know, outside the box. That's way outside the box.
Yeah. Well, and that's true. He had the backing of an international organization that has earned the respect of people around the world. So it wasn't like he was just some guy that was showing up. That's true.
Yeah.
But that is an example of how Rotary supports so many of these things.
Great, and not to take away from the idea, but just to have an organization this large and this supportive
Right.
makes miracles happen.
Absolutely, yeah, yeah, and so then we had another night of just a flat out rodeo, and so there were a lot of different events. This person who did the rope juggling, and then there was bronco riding, and
Did you save the video of the kid?
I did, yes, yeah, hopefully that will play. So, yeah, some of, weird things going on. The only event for women is barrel, racing, so they put out three barrels, and they have to go around them on their horses, and the winner did it in like 16 seconds. It's really remarkable.
And when she goes around the corner on that horse, the horse is almost horizontal. I have a good friend whose daughter-in-law is a barrel racer, and I had no idea till I saw this.
It's so
Not gonna give up. These guys don't give up. Hang on, guys. Oh, man. Alicia said it. These ponies are strong. See, now somebody's gonna have to stand up. That's it. Okay. And get off.
So these were teams of 3 kids. There were like 6 or 7 teams. That, by the way, is the winning team, and it was the only team of girls, I have to say. But so 3 kids come out holding this wild pony on the rope, and one of them's supposed to get on the horse for 2 seconds. Well, that was the only one that got on the horse, and in every case, the pony ran across the whole yard with a kid hanging on the rope.
If they wouldn't let go of the road.
Those women in the audience were maybe.
And did they have gloves on? It didn't.
I didn't notice. They have helmets. They are wearing helmets.
Yeah. But anyway, but
That was, to my mind, that was the most fun event.
so, so we did also do some more serious things. So we went.
Occasionally.
But they had sessions where they would, teach, on different topics, about running your club. And, so Sally and I went to one about, having intergenerational clubs, people of different ages. And then it was, it was really well done. It was run by like 3 different women from 3 different, staff people from different districts, and a lot of good information. And then the closing thing was really cool. The song that they played for Stephanie Urchik, was Simply Irresistible. And then that's Francesco Arezzo, sort of, they sort of passed the baton, and he was very gracious about, thanking her for everything that she did. And so this is kind of the slogan, or the idea that he wanted to get across. Together we see a world where people unite and take action to create lasting change across the globe, in our communities, and in ourselves. And it was pretty inspiring. So they also had, they had this big area where there were lots of exhibits and lots of like stores.
The fellowships were there too.
The
The fellowships were
The
there.
fellowships were were there too. That's right. All the different groups you can join. This was, so we bought this, this LGBT plus banner. This is Rotary Australia that ran that, but there were lots, but we bought our shirts there and all kinds of different things. And then, so Yahoo! Yeah. Is there any other questions?
Well, yeah, it is a question. Can you go back to this couple of slides where there was that quote about we envision a world?
Yeah,
I'd
you
like
bet.
to get a picture of you and Sally with that.
Yeah.
I mean.
Vince was there too.
Maybe we should have the internet.
And then-
I think so. They're not up to date.
He was there.
Too bad nobody had a white hat here.
My the way,
Perfect.
because I can take it off.
Okay, thank you.
All righty, thanks, everybody.
There you go.
Got it.
Thank you, guys. And yeah, we had a lot of fun. We had a lot of great dinners. One of the things that they're mentioning was, you know, you can just talk to anybody that, you know, that was in Rotary and nobody backed away from you, nobody, they just all wanted to engage. And it was anywhere that you went. So
Everywhere that
you're, you know, if you have some kind of bling on, some kind of Rotary bling, people would just talk to you. So, you know, I went on a trip, I went hiking, saw some people who had some Rotary stuff on, and you just talk. And it was amazing. It's just kind of a different experience than what you have. So who did not take a ticket?
Oh, I didn't buy it. Alrighty. 501.
Have to watch.
We're gonna go through a couple announcements.
Actually, can I ask one more question?
Sure, use the mic.
Well, thank you. So, some Rotarians in attendance at the convention wore native attire.
Mhm.
Yeah. So what did Americans wear for native? Just always, because we don't
T-shirt.
have any t-shirt and jeans.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay, so a couple announcements. One is, next week, we're gonna have Fiona Aturi. She is our assistant district governor. So she is in place from the district to actually connect three groups, which is us, South Burlington, and so she's gonna speak next week. October 9th, so I'm gonna have to correct my email because Luke changed the date to October 9th. October 9th is a road trip, which means we will not be here. Last year, South Burlington came here. This year, it actually turns out to be their 40th anniversary. So we're gonna go there. So hopefully people can plan to go there. If people need to carpool, you know, set that ahead of time. It should be a good event and actually give us an opportunity to actually meet some new people and see how maybe a different club kind of works.
It's the same time of day.
Same time as ours.
Where?
Times it's-
And where?
I will send something out.
At the library.
We know you will.
So during that, which is October 9th, so Luke's gonna come. He is our district governor. And so he has, I really don't know, 30 different clubs in the district. I've actually asked you guys if you'd wear a loud shirt, like a Hawaiian shirt or something, just so we kind of stand out a little bit. You don't have to if you don't want, but I know I'm gonna also be wearing it.
Unless it's got his picked out.
I've got about 20. Kind of like when you get your tux for the, you know, the prom, he can run it to you. Aaron wants to come up. She wants to talk about a volunteering opportunity.
Real quick. Of course not.
So I don't know if any of you know Tara Zeleny. She lives in this area and she has a not-for-profit called Color Our World. And on September 10th, I'm joining her and some of her folks at the Dorothy Alling Memorial Library from 10 to 2 to help them put together some Color Our World, AKA cow kits. If you have any questions or want any more information or be interested in joining us, please shoot me an email. Thanks.
What was the date?
What was the date?
September 10th.
And what day, is that a Saturday?
No,
September 10th.
weekday.
Okay,
It's the weekday.
and you said 10 to 2?
Yep.
Yeah. Leslie, wanted to come up?
Sure. I was just asking Erin if she would send that information. My assistant, my lovely assistant. Would you pass these out?
I thought that was me.
Hold on. just a second. Lovely assistant. Good morning. So who here has not heard of Pride Vermont? Okay, so you all know about the Pride Festival and Parade. It will be happening on September 7th. We have, thanks to Debbie and to Sally, we have a beautiful banner. And the PR committee decided that it would be a great idea for our Rotary Club to be a part of the parade on September 7th.
That's
So-
Sunday?
Sorry,
Yes, Sunday, yeah.
Yeah,
It is
Sunday.
Sunday. It's from noon to 5 on the waterfront in Burlington. More details will come because they haven't got it all worked out yet. But the first time there was a pride parade in the United States was June 28th, 1970. The first time in Vermont was June 25th, 83. Vermont, Burlington's festival and parade is the largest in the state. And it's really an opportunity for us to support a group of people who have been marginalized and brutalized for a very long time. And also just to advocate and to support and to have a wonderful time. So my lovely assistant has sent out some sign-up sheets. And so if you're interested in participating in the parade with us, as I said, more information will be coming out, but please sign up.
Oh, and could I just also do a plug for our speaker on August 28th? Our speaker on August 28th is going to be the Senior Director of Intercultural Experiences and the Interfaith Center at University of Vermont, and he's gonna talk about, he'll explain what LGBTQ means, and he'll talk about why people use different pronouns and different things to kind of help get us all on the same page around those kinds of issues.
Yeah, and Leslie, when you were talking about participating in the parade, you're talking about, are we gonna be marching in the parade? Will we be behind the banner, or what was your thought?
The thought, well, I don't really have a total thought on this.
Yeah.
First of all, I don't know how many people want to participate. I don't know the length of the parade, so that information will come out and probably determine whether we have a float or if we walk. So more information to come.
Oh.
Oh, sorry. Committee also found on Russell Hampton's site, there's some very cool tie-dye rainbow colored t-shirts. So some of us would like to order them, and there is going to be a group ordering coming up, so we'll just make sure that you know about that.
So future presidents, please remember, don't give the mic to Leslie.
She was nice about your hat and everything. Yeah.
Did she say what you were gonna say?
Not entirely.
Okay.
And
Paul has information
Yep.
about.
the church is probably going to the parade yet.
Yes, the Wilson Ferry Church has registered for the parade. The distance history would suggest, now maybe changed this year, there are changes this year apparently, but the distance has been less than a mile, based on previous experience, if that's helpful. The registration deadline has already passed, so you just need to know that, but.
Maybe we could ride on the coattails of a pre-registered group.
Yeah, like the Williston Federated Church.
That happened before. Yes,
We're late or anything.
yes, let's make that happen. We'll talk, make that happen.
Nice.
Will be a little adjunct.
Lisa?
So one of the things that we've been talking about from PR committee standpoint is improving our visibility in the community by focusing on branding, getting the Rotary name and logo out there. So I'm gonna ask Debbie to stand up. She's wearing a fabulous shirt. We're gonna be just coordinating a group purchase through Russell Hampton of whatever apparel you might like, whether it's a jacket, a vest, a shirt, a hat.
And actually, Sally, why don't you stand up too?
Yeah, she did.
Everybody saw it, didn't see the shirt?
Yeah.
Really.
Yeah, so I'm gonna have, I've got my laptop today, but I'm gonna just start bringing my laptop and people can go on the website and take a look and order something, and we'll do a group order. So that the shipping and everything is a much more agreeable number than if we tried to order individually.
Yeah, so just to put a seed in people's minds, so I usually, when I walk, I usually wear a hat. I usually don't wear the yellow hat when I go, but I will probably buy a blue one, because I think the blue will kind of blend and not stand out as much. So thank you for at least pulling together.
I will just add,
No, you gotta come up.
What's wrong with standing out
They-
with a yellow hat?
It's just a little bit, it's
Stand out.
like when you're in Shaw's, it's just a little.
Wouldn't buy a cowboy hat.
I know, right?
We absolutely wanna wear it for when we're doing service, but.
Yeah.
Otherwise, they're gonna ask you where to park.
and there's a lot to choose from, on Russell Hampton. But the yellow hats come from, a print shop in Essex Junction. And I found out from them, if we decide to do like a blue hat with white lettering, white, embroidery instead of the yellow with the blue, it's the same cost. So we're gonna need to do an order no matter what. I asked him if there was a minimum order. He said, yes, one. So.
Pretty good. Very cool.
Somebody just individually wants a hat and we're not doing a group order, you can go over to, I just threw a blank on the name of the.
East Coast printing.
Yeah, East Coast Printing, right, in Essex Junction, the old Flanders building. You can get a hat, they have the template.
And they're significantly cheaper than Russell Hampton, I think, aren't they?
Well, you don't have to pay shipping, so that in itself helps,
Right,
but I
right.
think they're like around $17-ish. So yeah, pretty reasonable.
Walter?
Flanders.
Walter has maybe a little bit of an update on benches.
So, I went around and looked at all the benches and we have 7, that's it. So, and they all need to be painted, except for the one that's missing because it didn't make it through construction.
And the one in Richmond.
And the one in Richmond. So I'm gonna pass out this list. This is just a list of what it is and what we should do to them. And this week I'm gonna work on, since there's 7 of them, I'm gonna actually work on getting them ready to paint. And so when you come next week, I'm not gonna ask you to sign up right now, but when you come in next week, think about who would you like to paint with. There's 7 and you can pick up the paint supplies and so forth here at the meeting and just take them with you. So that will be the painting, and the other part that I'd asked about is volunteers to work on basically supplying literacy. I think I have an idea of how we can start, so then the next meeting we'll talk about how do we start and do this. Okay, thank you.
Walter, you could talk about the 3 benches at Susan's.
Right, so I did go over and look at the 3 benches, and they're actually in pretty good shape. And they need a couple of boards, but they're actually in good shape, and I think you'd be happy to get them out of your barn, I'm sure, and use them. And the one thing I was thinking of is, so we've had 7 or 8 benches for years. Is that all we need in Williston? Or no? We need more benches, and I think one of the things we could do is brainstorm, like, where do we need more benches at some time? The first part is to get them painted, the second part is how do we expand them, so we have more. And I think your story, Armin, about you know, basic Richmond, and that people use the Richmond bench at the post office all the time, that it's actually wearing out, is a nice story to say, okay, people will sit down if we put them in the right places and use them. And I think that's what, I think we should start expanding, and that was your idea, is that we can expand and do it more with, you know, working with the town and making sure that, it's okay, but I think we should start looking at more than 7 or 8 benches.
Maybe the Williston post office.
So, you don't have on,
You gotta go to her.
so you don't have on the list the one that we did at Taft Farms. And the two that we did last year on, the two that we did last year that are on the lawn in front of the school, are those the two that are listed there?
Yeah,
We
it's
just did those.
Central School, and the other one is Telcon.
No, my question is, why isn't the one at Taft Farms? It's not on there because it doesn't need to be done, right?
Which one is this?
You and I did it. It's at Taft Farms. It's over by,
Right.
He says it's the one, the telco.
It's the one on I call it Telcon, I thought it was Telcon.
okay. so
But
we
that's
have-
it.
We have to do it again?
Yeah. It was a tough winter last winter, really.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah. I'm
they
sure
don't-
you're right.
They're not as in bad shape as they were before, but they all need to be done. really.
Okay, all right.
Okay. Oops. Hold on.
Want me to say something?
Well, it's. You know where,
thing?
Yeah.
you know where
If you
the-
remember, a couple months ago, Karen talked about
In Taft
you
Farms.
get 1,000 pounds of
It's
plastic,
right
you get
on
a free
the
Trex
corner.
bench. Those don't need to be painted ever. So pretty nice. I think Jason might want to spearhead something like that, but if someone wants to volunteer in getting plastic together and coordinating with Trex, we can get some free maintenance, free benches that way. I have a lot of plastic.
That was a lot.
Yeah, I have a lot.
Okay, so
It was.
any questions?
So the ones, I do have. So I know there's at least one bench on the Allen Brook Nature Trail, that's not ours.
No, it's not hard. I mean, we kind of had that straightened out. The town is gonna take responsibility. I'm just gonna check with the, you know, that person in the town and say, okay, is this what I understand is correct? Howard?
Just, if,
Your bench is missing, Howard.
just along the line, yeah, that's what we did is. Just to what Jeannie said, and, you know, Catamount is now a town park, and it strikes me that if we wanna add to our bench collection, some of these places that are recreational, where people walk through all the time, you know, some of the town walking trails and town parks might be a really ripe opportunity to place some nice benches in some really nice scenic areas where people are traveling.
We should have 3 new ones this year that we can put up.
So I'm gonna turn this over to Chris. Anybody that wants to talk more benches, meet with Walter after the meeting.